When it comes to women in the boardroom, a brand new study shows that for the first time in more than 20 years, every single company in the S&P 500 now has at least one female board member. It is a significant achievement and one that Victoria Pelletier has long looked forward to. She is a vice president at IBM. She works a lot on diversity, and Victoria's resume also includes other big companies like Nike and American Express. Victoria, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Here's my first question. How in the world is this just now happening? That's remarkable to me.
Shockingly, I've been asking myself that question for years, having been an executive 20 years ago and the only woman around the boardroom table at that time.
Why now is the question. Has something happened to make this finally come to fruition?
I think that companies and organizations are attempting to make demonstrable change. You talk about moving the needle, 20 years. The social unrest, however, that we've been seeing this past year has driven conversations across every boardroom around the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And you work a lot on diversity, obviously, as we mentioned, but how about like the election of Vice President-elect Kamala Harris? Has that added any more weight to this conversation, do you think?
I'm sure it has. It definitely has. The conversation, I loved it how she said, she might be the first, but she's most definitely not going to be the last. We've seen an amplification in leaders taking bold moves. Look at what happened with the NASDAQ, their diversity proposal to ensure boards on the NASDAQ have at least 2 diverse representations.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about the NASDAQ as well, too. Do you think the business community is now ready to make this change beyond the S&P 500?
I absolutely think they are. I think we're seeing it across a whole host of things, not only from a business perspective. One of the greatest increases in job postings is for chief diversity officers within organizations now. You also see it in other arenas, whether it's the Cleveland Indians changing their name to address the need for more inclusive environments. It's across the board in every boardroom, in every setting.
You mentioned inclusion there as well, too. Talk about the benefits of this push.
Well, I love actually at IBM, Ginny Rometty had this, if you can't be what you cannot see. That's one of the reasons I chose to come out to IBM, was for that culture, but it's so very true. So when we talk about inclusion, it means bringing your whole self to the workplace, feeling comfortable not wearing masks and covering and bringing and being all of you. So having leaders at the table that look like the colleagues that we serve is critically important. And
last question to Victoria, how genuine do you think these moves are? Is this just a moment in time, or is this something that's finally here to stay?
I believe it's here to stay, but it's still going to take, I hope that in another 20 years, we're not having this conversation. 37 of the Fortune 500 CEOs are women, right? Only 4% of venture capital go to women, 1% or less to African Americans. So I think this is the time where we're moving the needle forward. We're doing it for significant change, and I think we'll see it continue.
Hopefully so, and clearly more work to be done, too. Victoria Pelletier, VP at IBM, good to talk to you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.